Well, first let's turn the music down. We're back for the first art stream of the year. I'm trying to get webcam to work and it's fighting me. But assuming it works this stream, we will be in a good place. Alright, so stream's giving it's complaining about how many tabs I have open. So I'm just gonna reduce the amount of tabs I have. Yeah, let's just reduce that. I'm one of those people who end up with 20 tabs open for no apparent reason whatsoever. And yeah, just always complaining. Okay, so let me just switch over and we'll get started. So we're back in Locktown. Yeah. We're definitely back in Locktown for the new year. I figured we should start at the start. It's been one official year since we've been streaming and I'm just like, what's going on? Alright, so I'm gonna cover run cycles and walk cycles today, so just stay with me. Play that. So these are some of the animations we did last year. Jumping, running, the whole 9 yards of it. And I really wanted to kind of, how do I put it? Cover some things that I learned in the past year. But let me give you some news. I told the people in the Discord, but apparently I'm employable now. And that's been fun. So I'll tell you guys, if all goes well, I'll be working in an animation studio, which may result in some stream changes, some streaming scheduling changes. And I also took up a position. I'm not going to tell you guys what position it is yet because the group hasn't made the official announcement. But I'm thinking, yeah. Give me a second. Webcam's still not working. Hi, Pac. Welcome back. Hey, fun. And heart for both of you. Let me put 2 hearts. I don't want to be accused of yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it's really interesting. So we're back in Locktown with the ambulance and everything. I'm literally trying to find everything. No, what is this? Is it because it's not? Oh, that's why. So I'm just gonna go over After Effects in general, just for the people who are new. Fun. Pack stole the heart that was meant for you. I'm sorry. I can't be responsible for that. Easy, you guys are in a good mood this year. How has the new year been for you guys? How has the month of January been? Because I know it's a hard month for some people. This is usually around the time when I start hearing that New Year's resolutions have fallen through. So I hope that yours are all working out and you have not, in fact, fallen through. Wow. Fun is feeling. So, alright. Let me go to the middle ground. So I wanted to work on my walk and run cycles because I've learned a lot about animation since I started this project, and as you can see, some of these aren't. Oh, there it is. That's the grandpa. What I'm trying to do is find my runners because I turned them off. There we go. There we go. So I'm just gonna zoom in on them. I learned quite a bit. I'm not covering any staging or camera angles in this video. That's something that I'm going to do in a completely separate video, render them out for when I'm presenting this project. But I'm just gonna show you what we're working with and what I've learned on how to improve it. So first things first, I'm just gonna pause that, bring this over, and maybe bring that just a little bit back, is their expressions and the weight of objects that I've learned about. So let's just play that. You'll see them run off screen. I also want to fix this area. I want to fix that right there, the shoes. I want to give them more weight, essentially. Alright, so Pax says, this year has been crazy so far. New semester started, 4 classes, and I'm also starting a new job. Ooh, ouch. School and work. Yeah. I hope. Well, first, congrats on your new job. Oh, I get that. I get that. Pax says he's in a constant state of, am I forgetting something? Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. I'm gonna go with, so first I'm gonna leave that alone. We're not gonna touch any of these. We're gonna go straight back to good old grandpa. And in order for grandpa to make sense in this file, I should probably, yeah. So the first thing you have to understand about After Effects, especially when you have different compositions in the same file. So I'm working with nested compositions right now. And nested compositions, it's basically these down here. So if I click on them and I zoom out on this, so these, the residential block, and I have to zoom out, are each compositions. They each contain their own assets and animation. And you'll notice if I turn off the residential block, this file right here, you'll see the balcony is over here floating by itself. Background, the clouds, they're all different layers and compositions. Compositions hold several layers and it's really easy to work with. Once you sort of understand that all compositions will share the same timeline, but they can be different lengths. So if you are working with a composition that's nested inside another composition, you need to, if you ever click into it and you notice that, okay, let me, alright, so you see the grandfather character has disappeared from this composition. This is the master composition, it's what everything is inside of right now. And I'm actually just going to rename that to master. Can I? I think I'd have to go into compositions and rename it to master. So I'm going to rename that master comp, and it changed. Just to make it easier for you guys, this is the master composition, and if I if the nested composition is not visible inside the master composition, when you click on it, and I'm going to do that, when you click on it, I'm sorry, it's not working for me. That's because I'm using the residential block, when instead I should have been trying to get rid of Grandpa. So here's Grandpa. If I turn it off, like I said, if it's not visible inside the composition, you turn it off, it's not selected or anything. Once you come into here, it will disappear. They all share the same timeline. So you can make your edits in here, but understand that you won't be able to view it or make any changes unless you have it visible and the timeline is working, or sorry, hovering over it. Alright, reading. Fawn says, I'm enjoying the rest I have in January, which is sadly ending, then back to uni. Enjoy your break, Fawn. Enjoy university too. I left it. It's not that fun on the outside world. It's nice. I mean, it's a sort of freedom, but you're kind of like up in the air, like, what do I do now? But uni is stressed though. Alright, so you'll notice I have my layers sort of mixed up. That's because my trees are actually above my ambulance composition. And I have 3 ambulance compositions that I will explain to you in a bit. It would just make sense for me to move the tree than to touch those. So just gonna... There we go. So After Effects works a lot like Photoshop. The layers that are on top will appear on top of the others. The layers that are below will be below the others, and you can just consider compositions a group of layers that you put together in a little package so that you don't have a very messy timeline to deal with. Another thing that I like to use, that I encourage all people to use, is the hide all layers, which is the shy switch. And you can usually find it here. What you do is, and let me use it with a grandpa composition. Figure out what layers you're going to use and you turn them off. So you can click on it, and if I do that right now, you'll notice lots of layers disappeared. Only the ones that are not shy will stay. The ones that are shy will disappear. So layers that I didn't need any of the fingers. I'm not dealing with the shoes or the socks. At least I wasn't when I opened this composition last time, and so I hid them so that I could only work with the headband, arms, skin, those kinds of layers. Alright, so Patrick says uni more like poopy. I'm done. Fawn says, I honestly enjoy it. It's just certain classes that ruin the experience. The ones that have nothing to do with what you're studying and also are the most complicated ones. I have felt that before. The required classes... how do I even begin to address that? The core classes that everybody has to take sometimes annoys me. I feel that there are a lot of them that aren't needed. Some of them I do believe are needed, but I believe core classes probably should be... I don't know. Some of them I think should probably focus on a different thing, like taxes and stuff like that. You know, stuff that everybody has to do and will use in the future. I know there used to, in Jamaica we have something like a civic social studies. I don't know if they're still teaching it. However, there's a layer here that I need to access, and it's the ground layer. There it is. No, that's not it. There it is. I'm trying to move that. There we go. And alright, so this is just something I do personally. And it's to give myself I put the red line there, and that line represents the ground. It means that whenever I make a keyframe that is a contact that is going to be demonstrating the weight of the object, that they're all lined up to the same relative place. After Effects makes it very hard to do this sometimes, because once you bring a composition into its own layer, the background is by default transparent. It appears black, but it's a transparent background. Mine came with a white layer because I put them each in their own individual Illustrator files. But that red line, that white layer is about as useful as the black layer in terms of giving yourself a reference for where the ground is and where other things are. So you can see it pops up in here. That's about the size of the background and the line. If you want to just get rid of that white solid and come here, you can see what the actual line is. But what I want to do with this composition now is to sort of ground the character. I feel like that's a pretty good contact frame, but I don't like what goes on here with the shoes. I feel like that could have been how do I put it? A more solid frame. I feel like that should have some more weight to it. Reading. My core classes so far have been dumb. Taxes should be taught in high school, to be honest. I agree with you. I believe that things like taxes, business, basically things that everybody has to do, we should have a more thorough understanding of political systems and taxes, and essentially how law works and stuff like that. I think that's something that everybody should have an understanding of, because a lot of the foolishness that we see going on, and I'm not just talking about the foolishness we see in the United States where I came from, but even in my own country and in other countries, a lot of this happens when the population doesn't 100, or most of the population doesn't 100% understand what it is they're voting for. It becomes a sort of, even with what's going on in the United States right now, you have the tribalism. I'm not going to give my opinion on that situation. I'm going to leave that to people who are studying it. But when you start voting based on which political tribe you're in, as opposed to what you believe would be best for the country, or so on and so forth, then you tend to gain the understanding that people don't actually understand how politics works, or how how taxes work. Because sometimes people say that politicians lie, but sometimes they tell you directly to your face that they're going to do a bad thing to you, and because people don't understand the jargon or the words that they're using, they think it's something good. So I do believe that there should be more education on politics, specifically the jargon used in politics, the process of politics, taxes. I don't think taxes should be that hard to do. We like to talk about the literacy rate of a country. Specifically down here, we like to talk about how literate people are. I think that we should also include political literacy on that. Like, people should be politically literate, because many people are not. In addition to being like able to read and write, we should be politically literate, and so on and so forth. Guys, you may hear some noise. Trying my best to minimize it, but I'm giving you some warning. If you hear loud speaking, there's that. But moving back to After Effects, I said I wanted to, this right here, I want to fix, because your eye just does pick up on that. It doesn't have the weight that I wanted to have. Yeah. That was the interruption that I told you guys was coming. Okay, so I want to put some more weight on this. A part of my problem here, right, is that this is parented to the foot, and the foot is currently going through a rotation there. So I am actually fighting against the rigging of the object, which should indicate to me that there's something wrong with rigging. For those of you who are new, rigging is basically how you set up the illustration to be deformed, or what it's connected to, how it moves, and so on and so forth. So let's just get there. I believe that is the right leg. Yep, that's the right leg. So I'm gonna turn on the shy button, see what's shy and what's not. Or better, let's just go here. I know I want to work with the right shoe, sock, leg, and the left shoe, sock, and leg. I'm going to leave everything else out for now. So I'm just gonna make all of that shy. Skin, I want to work with the shoe, sock, and leg, so I need to make sure those are there. Getting rid of the shadow. And for those of you who remember last year working on this, the shadow is, or did give me problems. I might have to reanimate that again if I change what I'm doing. So let's get rid of the armband. And there, now I'm working with only these 6 layers. 6. There we go. So I'm gonna just pull this up. You guys might not be able to see this for several reasons. We're gonna go, I want the rotation and I want the position. So this is the rotation, and what you're looking at here are keyframes. Each of these keyframes is a breakdown of the action. So this is, there's a deformity that's happening there. So what I want, and I'm thinking I should probably freeze the leg, because like I said, I was fighting with the rotation of the leg and the fact that it's parented to the shoe is parented to this right leg. So let me actually just turn off the left leg and all of the left for now, so that we can just focus on that leg. Okay. So I definitely want to get this key position right. I'm not dealing with staging. I'm not dealing with squash and stretch just yet. I'm just dealing with placement, which makes it easier. Mostly I believe just dealing with placement makes it easier for people who are beginners. like myself, because I know more, but I know a little bit more than the average beginner, but I wouldn't say I'm intermediate just yet. So there's another thing that I think it's LL. R. Give me a second. I'm looking for the keyboard shortcut for there's another thing I have on this that's deforming the leg. I'm gonna show it to you. It's the effects. Oh, yes, keyboard shortcut for Puppet. So give me a sec. Puppet warp. Is it Puppet Warp or... Okay, it's not working, so I'm just gonna have to do that. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is make that shy. There's that. I'm giving myself more space to work with. There we go. So now I can access the tool, and what I wanted to do was see where the deformations are in relation to the key frames. So this is the right shoe. I want this pose to stay. So I'm just gonna grab that. So I'm going to copy, paste that, and I hope. And with these two, I am going to now freeze the rotation of the leg. So I want to Shift R, Shift R. There we go. Copy, paste, and I'm hoping that works out better. So I want that stop. And I think that's the beginning, so give me a second. And I think that reflects the distribution of the weight more properly. The deformation is still there, but it doesn't move off of that spot, which sort of mimics the transference of weight that goes on there. Let's see. So I did that, I froze that. Let me see if I can get that mimicked in the other leg now. I don't think I need to change the deformations. I think the timing of them is right. And if I zoom out, let me know what you guys think, if it reads better to you. Boy, I did not need that up close and personal view of you, no. Alright, so I think it mimics it better. And I'm going to do the same. Actually, I'm going to look at the sock for a second. Alright, the sock is doing its own thing, but I'm going to ignore it for now. Alright, so like I said, this is the run cycle. And his run is actually very relaxed. For the other runner, this one, give me a sec, I'll show her to you. Yeah, for this runner, and remember what I said about it not being there. Gotta make sure that my timeline reflects it. There we go. For her, I'm going to give her a more determined run. I'm going to tilt her forward and put her legs, just to give a contrast in the two different types of runs. So this is another contact position, so I'll have to do the same thing that I did at the previous contact position here. And the reason I don't just copy and paste it is if I do that, it's going to come across as robotic. So this, let's see. Alright, so I just want to hold this position a little bit longer, so I'm going to put that there. And Control C, Control V. Alright. Yeah. So Control C, Control V. If you want to just copy, make sure you clicked on the frame before you do that, or else you're going to copy the last frame that you selected. And what I want to do is go down here to the position of rotation. So click on it, Control C, Control V, and it appeared there. And I'm going to Control Z. Okay. I saw this leg kick up and I thought it was this one, so I just wanted to make sure I had gotten the right leg. And this is what that looks like now. So the first few steps are, I feel, have a little bit more weight on them. And I'm going to move on to the next one. So the last frame and the first frame are basically the same thing. As you can see, the armband is losing its rotation here, but that's something I can fix. You don't need to worry too much about that. So we've got that. And we want to just give that some more weight. So we're mostly dealing with the principle of weight in this stream. Okay. So Fawn says, seems more realistic like this. You can see gravity affecting him rather than seeing him sliding. Yep, that's exactly what I'm trying to go for. Patrick says the human lock hybrid is very realistic. What are you talking about, Pac? Look, he's got a mustache and everything. It's totally realistic. I don't know what you're talking about. He's so realistic. He's got a little mustache. I debated giving this grandpa glasses, but I didn't because I believe I gave the scientist guy, scientist slash doctor guy glasses. I need to go back to the old stream because, guys, I forgot what we named them. I know one was Lockter. Oh no, I don't need to go back to the old stream. I really think I announced the names on Instagram. Does Lockworld imply that there's a race of key creatures that are able to enter the Lock people? I don't know. You're gonna have to take that up with Tony. Tony was the first person to ask me that question. I believe we came up with the fact that they are that they are locked inside Locktown or something like that. I don't know what we were thinking, but that's the only thing that protects them. The only thing that protects them from Tony is the fact that Tony has yet to find the key to Locktown. So, I don't know. If you feel like designing a race of key people, let me know, but make sure you put a lock on your world, or else you might get a visit from Tony. Speaking of which, I'm kind of laughing right now because Tony's not here, and I told him yesterday that computer juice was imminent, so I was trying to hint that today was going to be a Lockdown day. But he's not here, so I'm gonna be in trouble when Tony finds out I went back to Lockdown and he missed it. Yeah. So let's just get that going. And guys, this is why it's important to understand animation, but also to understand the program that you're using, because I repeat again, the reason why it looked like it was sliding was, first of all, I parented it so the shoes actually move with the character, and I mean that makes life easy for me to a sense. However, let's see. Sorry, I had to think in that moment. That's not working at all. Nope. No. Okay. Something's a little bit off with this one. Give me a second and I'll figure it out. I think it has something to do with the deformation of the shoe. So the shoe is right there. I think I might have to actually move the deformation on this one. Just maybe a tiny bit. So copy V. Or maybe I'm starting from the wrong place. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe I should stop the rotation first. There we go. And then do that. And now we figure out what's going on with this shoe, because this shoe is obviously having its own existential crisis. It looks fine. Okay, here is our problem. Our shoe is not on the ground, guys. Like, it's not on the ground on a serious way. It's on the line, but it's not on the ground, so shoe position. If I move the position of this shoe right now, I'm going to have so many problems. So give me a second, I'm thinking about this. Fawn says it's actually Bluetooth locks. Keyworld, the most unsafe place ever. Sure. That's assuming everybody is a skeleton key. But does that mean that skeleton keys would be like criminals? I don't know. Things to think about. Alright, let me just play this for now. Let me just play this for now and see how it looks. Alright, so this feels a lot firmer, a lot less that like it's sliding. This feels like a character that exists in a world where gravity has rules. I'd just like to point out that we need Tony the Lorehound. Oh wow, Pac, is that how he's I'm done. Man, I mean, Tony makes pretty good backstories. Between Tony and Mary, I'm never bored for stories. Mary makes some really good writing stories, and Tony is always up for whatever it is. I really think he needs to write down the lore of the Booty Snatchers group, because I haven't read the Locktown manga nor the expanded universe. Right now you're creating it, so you let me know what you put in that manga, and I'll let you know if I'm capable of making that. Okay. So this one, it still feels, that step still feels. So that feels like it's sliding, but that's the left foot. That's the right foot. Okay, the right foot, just looking at the right foot. I'm gonna have to do some work on that second step, but the right foot feels a lot more stable. Like, gravity is a thing that exists in this world. But I want to fix whatever that deformation is, yeah, on so that's Control X, Control V, Control X, Control V. And I think what the problem is that the deformations are not matching the movement after I change the rotation. So I was right. I am going to have to adjust the position of the deformations. Animation is not for the lazy, which is a problem because I tend to want to be lazy, guys. I want to be, but I also want good animation, so laziness gets left by the wayside. Okay. Let's play that. So there's a lot of trial and error here. The more practice I get, the better I'll get at this. Sub versus dubbed. Is there a subbed versus dubbed debate in manga? I thought that was limited to or are we talking about scandalated versus translated? Cause okay. I'm just gonna do that. And I'm gonna unshine these layers, come back in here, and I want a left shoe, and a left leg, and a left sock. So, there we go. I'm going to make the right shoe, right sock, and right leg shy. And now we're going to just focus on the left leg. The left leg, I'm just gonna hide it so you guys can see which one I'm talking about. This is the left leg. So the interior leg is the left. Patrick says he is a fake weeb. Hey Kai. I clicked just in time to see Kai type okay weeb. I'm done. Like, it's really interesting, guys. You remember a time when anime was like this little known thing? Okay guys, guess what? I think maybe I noticed this already and I fixed it a little bit on the left leg because the left leg isn't sliding as much as the right leg, but I'm going to still make those adjustments just in case. Yup. See, the left leg is definitely not sliding as much as the right leg. There we go. I'm going to have to adjust the rotation of the body as well in tandem with these legs, but the left leg actually doesn't need fixing, so I'm going to assume sometime during when I was bored I fixed that, and it's now just a thing. So what I need now is, this is parented to the skin, so I'm going to have to just adjust the skin. So I'm gonna unshy that. I definitely want to fix the right armband, so I'm gonna unshy that, and the headband. So now we're just working details. So I think the headband working is nice, but it's just moving for moving's sake. It's not reflecting gravity or weight on anything. I think it's kind of strange, so I'm going to give myself a whole lot of problems. I am going to reset this entire layer. Whoops. So this is the base thing. I want my to be 0. So that's what we're looking at right now. And I think already that looks more realistic than what I had before. What I'm going to do is, the axis is changing. I'm really just going to do the position. I'm gonna lock that and unshy that layer. I want at least, because the armband is going to be reacting so strongly to the legs, or you know what? Let's not do the armband first. Let's do the skin first. In order to do the skin, the headband, sorry, in order to do the skin, I need at least the right, not the sock, but the right shoe and the right leg, and the left leg and the left shoe. And what I'm doing right now is something like secondary action. It's an action that is controlled by the main action. So the headband is reacting to the action of the feet moving. Let's see. Dubbed means dubbed. I'm done. Dubbed means that you are trying to match the words of another language to the mouth movements that are animated. It's actually a lot harder than it looks, because when something is dubbed badly, it looks like the character is speaking and the words are coming afterwards. Cries in Japanese tongues. I don't know what language that is. It's like I don't know what language that is. So dumb. Oh my goodness, guys. Alright, I'm gonna have to keep my promise of showing you my face next week, because I'm gonna spend this week working out what's wrong with my web camera. It's probably something really, really simple that I'm overlooking, because the program is working correctly. It's just not allowing me to select the web camera. So I probably did something stupid, and I just haven't realized it yet. But it's okay. Alright, so this is the right leg, the left leg. And I did say the position of this headband. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move right here. And because I make it a loop, the first frame, the last frame is actually not exactly the same as the first frame. How do I put this? I just remembered, when you want a loop that is seamless, it's not exactly the same as the first frame. It's usually the frame that would occur immediately before this frame. That way, when it loops, it goes back to, it becomes a seamless loop. But because I don't know what the frame before this one is yet, I'm just going to use this frame as a placeholder. So we're just going to move to that. I use this frame as a placeholder frame. And then as I animate to about here, which should be approximate to there, I will get the frame immediately before this one, adjust it so that it's seamless. So that's another tip that you can look out for if you want a perfectly seamless loop. Do not copy the first frame exactly, because what's going to happen is you're going to have two frames that are exactly the same. That's going to mark the transition in your loop. If you get a frame that looks like it should be the frame immediately before that one, then it will be harder to detect where your loop begins, because you don't know, because you won't be expecting that is where the loop ends. You're going to be looking for the first frame, or a moment of stillness that does not look as if it should be there. So basically, you're going to be looking for any awkward movement to mark the beginning and end of a loop. And so we just don't create it. Anyway, Kate, I asked Pack and Fun already, but how has your new year been? Have you been sleeping properly? Have you been eating properly? Is school and or work giving you stress or not giving you stress? Because not. I met a rare creature who was not stressed out by anything recently. I call it a child. Alright, so let's see. That's position, and that's leg there. Alright, so like I said, this is secondary action, so I'm gonna have to zoom into this, because you actually gonna go a few frames afterwards, and I'm gonna move you That's the y-axis. Okay, good. Control Z. I'm just gonna move you like to 21. I don't want it to be any big thing. So my baseline is 20. Call that 20. And then I'm moving to 21. So that's 21. I'm gonna have to do ease in and ease out, but essentially the motion I'm going to be doing is going to be something like parabolic motion, but not exactly. I'm trying to... How do I describe this movement? It's going to go down, down. It will go up a little bit after this passing position, because this is the passing position. Hold on. This is contact. Passing. So after this passing position, our headband is actually going to go up. It goes down with each of these, so I might have to change the first frame too. I'm already beginning to figure out what the frame before the first frame is, because now I know that because the character goes up, the headband is going to be going up as well. So I'm gonna do that. I know my base is 20, so I can put the headband at 22. Sorry, 18. And that's just like a little bit before. I want to put that back at 21. And let's see how that looks. Alright, so I liked that motion. It's a little bit stiff, but that's because I haven't done any easing. And it's not very, if you look at a headband, it's not very pronounced. So it's not very cartoony, it's very much more realistic, but I like that. So that's the lowest point, the highest point, and back to base point. Or back to the lowest point. So there's that. So run, passing position, down, passing position. So that's gonna be like 17. I'm just doing one-off values just so that it doesn't look robotic. So that's where you hit the floor. That's 21 again. That's the passing position, so we want to go back to 18. That hits the floor. That needs to be fixed. That's gonna... There we go. That's where the weight is. That right there is the moment weight goes down on the foot. And so here we go with... Alright. So that's the lowest position, and it goes back to 20. So this should actually be... 20 might actually be the place for it to be, because what I've realized is that the first... We started the loop in a contact position, meaning that it's immediately after the character goes up and comes down, which means that gravity has not yet started acting on the character. So 20 is about right. If the lowest point is 21 and the highest point is 18, 17. So you can just assume that the y-axis is flipped. So 21 is down there, 18, 17 is up there. But we can play it and let's see. So the loop is sort of weird. So that means I did it wrong. My calculations are incorrect. It is not all according to plan, so I have to figure out what's going on. So first let's stop that. Let's move that back to the front. And I think my timing might be off. It might not be my spacing. Alright, so... Alright. Okay. Hello, Tony. I'm not in trouble anymore, guys. See, he's here. He can't say he missed it. Can you please show this dictator Locktown one more time? Sure, why not? So far the new year is going pretty well. Sleep is alright. I started exercising again. That's great. That's the exact opposite of me right now. I should follow your example. Patrick goes, oh god, he's here. Tony says, you already knew I was coming here. I'm done with you guys. I'm trying to eat a bit more healthy. I'm fairly energetic compared to last month when I felt kind of shitty. I'm glad you're feeling better. It's always good to be getting good food, sleep, and exercise. Congratulations. Let's see. Tony says, fun, high five. Hope you're not getting due to storm. Yeah, we had a whole lot of rain yesterday, so I'm actually not that surprised to hear Fawn is getting storms down there. Good news, bad news for me. Good news, hot weather might be gone for a while. Bad news, it may be due to a storm. I hope the storm is not bad. I hope the rain comes so that it will cool the place down just a bit. I don't know what the climate is like there. My assumption is that it's just slightly worse than ours, but I'm not sure. Yeah, blackouts aren't fun, so I really hope there's no blackouts where you are. Okay, let's see what we're going with right now. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, right. So I was saying that I think it might not be my spacing, but my timing that's off. The thing is, I can't do straight ahead animation, or rather, I don't know how to do straight ahead animation in After Effects. So that many keyframes is just not happening for me. Not right now. So I'm doing pose to pose animation, and I'm using these terms without explaining them, so let me explain to them. Timing is when something happens. So when. So timing, for example, I was saying that the headband is going to hit its lowest point after the feet hit the ground. So right here is the contact position. This is the action that causes the headband to go down. And so this is here. You see? I'm already finding issues with myself. So this action needs to be here. So this is the action that causes the headband to go down, which means the highest point comes a little bit between the middle of this. So this is the action. And so the highest point needs to be here. And what I'm fixing right now is the spacing of the action. So the headband could hit, how do I put it? I can't really control spacing because, how do I put it? Maybe this isn't the best thing to use for this explanation. I'm going to use the right leg for this because the right leg has the deformation on it, so I can click that. So before, when I was fixing the feet, I was fixing the timing of the action, meaning that I needed to fix when this foot began rotating. So it was here, it was frozen, or rather it was going down, it's frozen between these two keyframes. So that's timing. The spacing of the action is these deformations that are happening right here. So each of these deformations is equivalent to a frame that I would be drawing if this is 2D animation. And so the leg is still bending, even though I have frozen the rotation of the object. The deformations that I have added to the object is still happening. So even though the rotation isn't happening, these the spacing of these deformations remains the same. So even though I changed the timing of the rotation, I didn't change the spacing of the deformations that you're seeing. Okay, so Pac is leaving. I'm assuming you're headed home. Travel safely. Pac says he has most of the Witcher series downloaded from Netflix in case it does. The only thing I know about The Witcher is that song about toss a coin to your Witcher, because someone said it reminded them of a tribute to the greatest song ever, and I had to see that. Someone harass Tony for me while I'm gone. Hold on, I think I missed a comment from Tony. Just think about all the booty he can get when a storm comes. I don't think it's a storm at sea. Wouldn't he need treasure to get that? I don't know who you're passing that baton to Pac about harassing Tony, because I can't do it. I can't do 3 things at the same time. I can do 2. No, I can't. I'm lying. I can only do 1 thing. Assuming Pac's headed home. So explaining that spacing issue, when you're doing traditional animation, spacing is where you draw the drawings. Timing is when the action happens. And it's kind of a hard concept to wrap your head around, but usually I would have explained this with a raindrop. So it's like, you don't fill every frame with a key action. So spacing is like, if I had this and this bending right here, if I moved this keyframe right here closer to the other one and said that was the position of the passing frame, then that would be spacing. When that passing frame happens, whether it happens later or longer or slower, that's timing. Pose to pose animation, which is the type of animation I'm doing now, is when I focus just on keyframes and I animate by creating these select amount of keyframes so that the computer can work out what the in-betweens are. Straight ahead animation would be if I, without considering the keyframes or the key positions, I decided that I'm just going to animate the frames exactly as they come. So I'd animate this frame, then I'd animate that frame, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, until I had something that looked like, hey, this is correct. Straight ahead animation has lots of advantages. For one, it's more intuitive. You don't have to worry about if the action is going to look smooth because you are working with, you're only focusing on what's coming immediately next. And I tend to find that I use straight ahead animation when I'm drawing on things like hair, clothing, and I don't really have to use straight ahead because After Effects takes care of the in-betweens for me. That's both a blessing and a curse because you basically spend a lot of your time fighting against the robotic feel to your animations. You have to spend a lot of time adding details to make it look more lifelike, because if you don't tell the computer, for example, if I didn't add the deformations to the leg, this would be a straight line just swinging back and forth like a pendulum. So computers like straight lines, they don't do anything you don't tell them to do. But the advantage of After Effects doing the in-betweens for me is that I don't have to spend as much time drawing or worrying about perspective. And I can do things like take care of the color. For example, in traditional animation, I have to color each individual frame myself. With After Effects animation, if my image is colored and rigged properly, each frame is automatically colored. I don't have to worry about it. So that's what I meant by pose-to-pose animation and straight-ahead animation. And that's what I mean when I say timing and spacing. Let's see, rotation. So it's all about rotation, and I'm just keeping track of where all of this is. That's where the weight is. And I know what my high point and low points are, so that is the lowest point. Or maybe I want to move that some more. That's the highest point right there. I also want to work on the skin, so that's the rotation. And I'm actually gonna make that first position a position there. That's the rotation. And let's rotate that just a bit. So what I'm doing right now is adjusting this based on the positioning of the legs. So we've got to hit the ground there, there, there. Now that looks like a thing. Level it out here, and that's already there. Level that out. And I want that to actually be there. And when I ease all of these frames, they'll be so much better. I think one of these frames actually needs to... Yeah, you can disappear. So let's play that, see how it looks. The headband isn't looking so well, so I'm going to take that off so it doesn't distract me. That's not looking good, so... There we go. What I did was undo everything. I undid everything so I could do this from scratch. I'm just going to use the rotation of the legs as my guide. So that's that. And we're looking at our skin. So default is 5. And this is -2, so that's going up, and that's that. That might actually need to be 4. And right now, this is only in reaction to the left leg. What I'm trying to do is create a reaction for the right leg that makes sense to me. So might not actually need to adjust anything. Okay, so I didn't need to add more frames, I just needed to level out these frames. Three, let's put that at 2. Alright, so something's a little bit off, and it's... Whoops. Yeah, it's the first frame. So I'm going to do that. That's 5. Let's get that last frame. And I just realized I could actually make this 4.9 so that it becomes just like that. So let's see how that looks. And just like that, I fixed the jerkiness of the loop. Okay. I think I lost the connection here, so I'm just gonna click it just to make sure you guys are seeing. Yeah. There we go. And I think you guys lost viewing of it before. So now it's there. It still feels a little bit robotic. And if you'll give me a second, I'll see if I can fix that. I don't know, it still feels a little bit stiff to me. Like there's no, I think there's no follow through to the action. Or maybe I'm not going far enough with the... Let's try it. Yeah, there we go. That's up. Ah, let's see. So let's see this and this. That's up. Alright, so that is left foot, passing position, right foot, passing position, left foot, right foot. Okay, there needs to be one. Let's copy this, copy V, and then move it up just a bit. And I think where we need to go back on this is actually in the passing position. Trying to create a contrast between the Alright, let's see how that looks. Alright, that feels a little bit lighter. It feels like there's weight on it. And I'm gonna pause. Give me 1 second, guys. Alright, so I was saying that feels a bit lighter. Let me know if I'm hallucinating or if it actually does. I think it feels lighter, I don't know. Let me know if I'm hallucinating, guys. Fawn says it has been working fine for me. I'm assuming you're talking about the walk. Thank you. Alright, so that's working good so far. Let's just run around the place. I think that's lighter than before. Okay, let's see what else I want to do here. Alright, if I speed it up, it feels a lot better. But I'm not sure about the position of the hands. I think the hands need to... I want to add some follow through of the motion to the hands, just so that it feels a little bit more maybe I should just go further with this. So let's see if I go further with the rotation, if I go all the way back on this rotation, just to create some contrast in that movement. Excuse me. Hopefully that will... just a little bit... I don't know. Something's off about it. Maybe I'm just not studied enough. Alright, I think that feels better, but I don't like the bucking motion that it's creating. So I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna do easy ease for these. And then for this is going to be ease in, and I think this should be eased out just based on and let's see if that works. And alright, there we go. I just realized I forgot to send that. Okie dokie. So let's see what's up. Alright, so now that we've done okay, that I'm doing it slowly now, just so I can sort of do a picturing of what the motion is and what's causing the motion. So the leaning back of the motion is actually being caused by this front leg pushing up. The reason why it feels weird to me is I'm looking at the front leg, right? And it's just bent. It hasn't straightened. And that's a problem, because if it bends, it needs to straighten too, or else that motion is impossible. So, that being the left leg, I actually need to go into effects, into puppet animation, and into the deformers. Now I'm only working with these puppet pins, so if I click on the leg, I want to click on the leg so I can see what's going on. There we go. There we go. Make sure that I'm using the right tool. And the right tool would be just gonna grab that, and I'm just gonna take a here, that's, I think that position's pretty much good, but that's the second puppet pin, which is this one, and that's the pin that I'm really trying to get a good thing on right now. So that's straight, bend, that's a push, push, alright, so finally figured out what I'm missing. It's the jumping motion of the run. So there needs to be a and that tells me I should probably have like a reaching motion for the foot, because I'm treating this more like a walk cycle than a run. So at least mentally. But I like that, So it's push. So just straightening it along so that we're there. And let's do the other one. So that's the bend. Needs to be a slight straightening of the foot. And I think just maybe a little bit more exaggeration of the shape makes it feel much lighter and looser. So I'm going to create like a jumping motion in there, and that's going to require me to grab all the frames and sort of push them just a little bit further. Possibly make a new keyframe. So we're there. I just want to make sure that bend, push here. Actually, not sure. I think this is a rotation right here. I can grab this and move that just a little bit back. And then okay, so let's see how that looks. I think the skin on the down position, or the body, maybe I should rename that to body. Let's do that. Rename body. Alright, so let's see. Taking it slowly. Down, push. And we're just gonna make sure that lines up with the shoe. There, there. And the body is supposed to hit a down point there. Goes up. Just gotta make sure that I probably should make sure I'm looking at the right shoe first of all. Yep. So this is the left shoe that's causing this drop in it right now. And so that is exactly where. Control X, Control V, just to make sure that happens at the same time. And this is the right foot right here, so we're looking at the right shoe. Move back and Control X, Control V, Control X, Control V. There we go, and play. Now, guys, what I'm doing is blasphemy. I'm just gonna easy ease. It's the same thing here. We're just gonna okay, there we go. That is looking a lot better than when we started out. And I think it looks a lot lighter. So, let's see. I'm gonna have to do probably the same thing for the arms. I think they're dropping too uniformly. I think that they need to probably go up more and finish their motion before they start falling. But I do have one more thing to do in this section of the composition. Doesn't have anything to do with the arms. It's the armbands, which I remember had issues. So let's go with the rotation. And I'm just gonna go there. We want that last position. So let's see what the positioning on this is. Copy V, there we go. And Control C, Control V. And I'm actually gonna put this at negative 24.9. Alright, so the armbands I'm going to have to animate just to give it more movement. Everything I'm going to have to animate to show the movement of the body, how quick it is, and so on and so forth. But for now, the armband is shown. I like this about the armband, the fact that it goes out to there. That is, I believe, the furthest point. That I want to happen as well. So I want it to go back. Up. And I actually want to keep this, but I need the arm to really get that animation right. And it's starting to really look better. So let's finish the animation of the headband, which probably, now that I've gotten the feet right, will finally look right in my eyes. And we'll move on. We've got about an hour left in the stream. And let's see. Okay. So while I'm working this out, let me tell you about what's going to go on with the stream. The scheduling I might change. It's still going to be on the weekends, as far as I know, but with my hopefully finalizing my new job and let's see. With hopefully finalizing my new job and my new position, I'm going to have more meetings that will probably be on the weekends. So I might move the timing to further up in the day on the weekends rather than at night. However, I'm not quite sure. Vaughn said animation is not for the lazy. Yeah, it's really not. It's kind of like animation will make you question what you know about what you know. You think you know. You think you know, and then it will just go, maybe not. Maybe you need to rethink that. Okay, so let's get rid of that, and that, and that. So I just deleted all my hard work yet again. Time to start all over. I think if you're really passionate about something, and I'm not just talking about animation here, if you really enjoy something, you won't mind all the stuff that you have to go through to get it right. But if you're not, then it just becomes a pain in the bum. Yeah, so this is the position of the body. Watch me try to create follow-through motion right now with these. So I'm just gonna rotate. First of all, where am I rotating this from is another question, because right now I think the anchor point of this is in the middle, and that is probably not the best place for it right now, so I'm just gonna grab this. First, I'm gonna double click that. What happened just now is I moved that to a whole other layer. And I'm just gonna move the anchor point. Now that I've moved the anchor point, yeah, I was expecting that. So when I parented this, right? So give me a second. When I parented this, I did not parent it to the body, I parented it to the stroke. So what I want to do is I'm going to change the parent to the body. So first of all, that's going to stay safe, and it's mirroring all the changes in the body. So I might actually have to move the anchor point back. I'm gonna undo that last value change. Edit, redo, edit, redo, edit. So I'm here. I just want to make sure I didn't undo almost everything. There we go. And what I want to do when I finally get to animating the arms is I want to create some bend in the arms. I want to create a motion in the arm to sort of emphasize the motion that I'm going for. It's a very energetic sort of run. But it's very casual, it's not... How do I put it? He's not dying. He's not dying. That's you know, some people, me, die when they're running for exercise. This old man is not that person. He's not dying. He's not me. Okay, so let's see. Let's just do all of that, delete that again. So what makes sense, I will just position it manually. And I'm just going to You might be wondering what the hell I'm doing. I am honestly not sure. I'm just experimenting. So it's like there. I think I might leave the rotation alone and really just down. Copy V. Guys, don't ask me what I'm doing. I am playing games. That's what I'm doing. Alright, let's see that. Alright, let's see. Whee. There we go. Alright, so let's see what's going on in Jamaica in terms of animation this year. The Jamaican Animation Nation had elections recently. And I think we have 3 or 4 film festivals. 3, 2. I'm going to mention 2 and I'm going to double check the other 2. There are 2 film festivals that are coming up. That is the Lignum Vitae Film Festival and the GAT Film Festival. Lignum Vitae, significance of the name, it's our national flower, if I'm getting that right. I think the blue maho is our national tree. But the Lignum Vitae Film Festival is one of those deadlines is the end of this month. I have a book. Let me just double check myself. Watch me forget how to spell, guys. Absolutely nothing. This is the wrong book. Oh well. So I believe the deadline for Lignum Vitae is the first week of March, and the deadline for GATFest is January 30th or 31st. Go with 30th, just in case it's wrong. But those are the 2 local festivals that have animation categories at the moment. Yeah. So those are the 2 that are having festivals at the moment. So let's go with that. There's that. And copy. Yeah, it's not worth it, guys. Let's delete that and check how that goes. So there are two festivals with animation categories going on, the Lignum Vitae Film Festival and the GATF Festival. Yeah, GAF Festival, I believe. I recently saw a posting in the paper for the Kingstown Animation Festival, which is one of the bigger festivals. It's put on in collaboration with the government and the World Bank. They were advertising for festival coordinator, so I put that around 2021, 2022, the latest. So get yourselves ready for that. If you are into animation, you don't have to have a completed animation to enter Kingstown. You can also enter in the emerging category. Watch me forget stuff live on air. But yeah, emerging. So what you will have is competitions for script, storyboard, character design. There's also a pitching competition where you will have they will teach you how to pitch your animation to investors. So if you're an up-and-coming animator and you need the skills to survive in the industry, this is the perfect thing for you. Also, JAFTA Propello has been JAFTA is the Jamaican Association of Jamaica Film and Television Association. There we go. And their propeller, because we speak Pato here, their propeller program is geared towards giving funding to around 5 or 6 short films or animations to be made so that we can have, how do I put it? Yeah. Like that. Yeah. So we'll do, yeah, so they give 5 or 6 films to be made, the funding that they need, and so that you can be organized and all of that stuff. The film production that I was really honored to have worked on, because I had fun, was Agwe, and that was one of the JAFTA Propeller, I believe it's 2018 winners. So get your film treatments ready. They have been advertising that it's coming soon, open call, and they're ready for it. So if you don't know how to make a film treatment, guys, Google is not only for social media and memes or whatever it is that you have been thinking of. It can also teach you stuff. If you type in how to write a film treatment, if you read the first 10, I guarantee you will have some idea. You may not be an expert, but you'll have some idea. And they might lead you to an expert. Usually, what I find with tutorials is that there's one really good tutorial, and then there's everybody else that's borrowing from that tutorial. Cough, cough. Throwing words at myself. But if you read and you build up, if you read and you build up, you should be able to do your own treatment. I suggest you also do some reading on screenplays and the rules of story writing, such as the beats of writing for film and how it's different from writing for, say, a comic or a book, and what makes a good story, what makes a good character. Another book I recommend reading, I don't think you're gonna get through all of them, is The Hero with a Thousand Faces. My personal favorite book on screenwriting is Save the Cat, but that's just because I like the writing style. I don't know how it stacks up against the others, but getting yourself the information is really easy. You can probably find books on Kindle. You can probably find them on Audible if you're not that into sitting down with a book and reading. And if you're like me and you collect books and you have books on your bookcases with the information that you have not read yet, go read them. I'm currently in the middle of rereading Save the Cat because I forgot everything that was in it. But it's always good to read books, watch videos. YouTube's a pretty good place for that. And so is Linda. If you are a member of any New York Public Library, guys, you have access to a free Linda account through the New York Public Library. Take advantage of it. You don't have to pay for it. So, things you didn't know. If you're a member of the New York Public Library, you have access to a free Linda account for free. You don't have to pay anything at all. Isn't that beautiful? All of that information at your fingertips, and the government pays for it. Make use of your public library. If you are not a member of the New York Public Library, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Sorry, guys. I want this to do something, and I'm not quite sure how to do it without putting a bunch of keyframes in there. So I am going to research that for next time, but really what I want is a sort of rattle. Just to indicate that, hey, you know, just to sort of give it just a little bit of kick, a little bit of personality. So that's straight, that's like that, that's like that. I'm gonna actually move that up more. And I think that rotation might be a little bit too much. Alright, I like it now, but I'll give it 2 or 3 days and I'll probably see all the mistakes in it. Or maybe I'll give it an hour or so and I'll see the mistakes in that animated headband. But as of this moment, I am pleased with it. As of this moment. Thing with animation is you become less and less pleased with it the longer you look at it. But moving on, because I want to move on to something else so I don't drive myself insane. Arms. I'm not touching fingers. No siree, I am not touching fingers. So we're only going to focus on the arm and I feel like I just jinxed myself. I feel like by saying I'm not touching fingers, I have inadvertently um put it into my future. So I'm just getting rid of these. I know definitely because I'm going to be deforming the arm that I'm going to need the arm bands, because the thing with deformation is that After Effects does not register a deformation as a change in any position or translation, and so it will not mirror the movement of the deformation in anything that's parented to the object. For those of you who are, again, new, parenting means that you have essentially created a link between the position of one object and the other object. In the case of this character, you will notice that, let me click the body and the headband, and I'm looking at the body. So you'll notice in the case of the body and the headband, so I'm just going to put rotation and position. Even though after this point there are no more keyframes, the headband is still mirroring. That's because, barring any specific rotations in the headband itself, the After Effects has essentially linked the position, whatever position the headband is in, to the position of the body. And so if I rotate the body 10 degrees, it's going to rotate the headband 10 degrees from the position of the anchor point. Which is why earlier when I moved the anchor point, you saw the headband do a floating motion towards the right. That's because I messed up the equations that After Effects was working on. So these are just little things important to know about your program, important to know what it is exactly that is being linked, so that when you get some unexpected behavior, you can begin to troubleshoot to say, okay, I did this and this is possibly what's wrong. And it will also give you hints towards how to fix your thing. Now, this is the headband, and that's all I have to do about parenting. Now, because I know that deformation isn't going to count towards the quote-unquote position or rotation of my arm, I know that eventually when I make one of these deformations, the armbands are going to look like they're out of place. So let's say I deform this arm, which I'm going to, so let me actually do it. That is the right arm. And I'm just gonna hit the puppet effect. I'm not even going to play it because that's the one I'm using. This is there, and what I want is also the rotation. So right now I only have rotation and position on, so yes. So what I did was I got rid of that, and in order to get rid of them is Shift T is opacity, Shift A anchor point, Shift R rotation, and Shift S scale. So I'm just letting you know those are the keyboard shortcuts that we're using here. So all of this is basically rotation, which explains why this looks robotic as hell. So we're just gonna do that. So it's basically just a swinging motion, and Especially since I haven't eased anything. No wonder that looks robotic and doesn't look like there's any life in the character. That was lazy animation, guys. So this is the highest point. And this is the deformation. Now I'm just gonna click that, let you know that I can bend that and move that. Now you see this, guys. Remember when I told you that my words were gonna come back to bite me in the butt? If I'ma just show you that that's my words biting me in the butt right there. So the left arm, and just gonna click that. Guys, can you already see my pain and suffering? So that's the default position. We're headed to that position. There. At this point, this is the right arm. We're just gonna click, right? We're just gonna click so that the pins will show up. And just think of it as a noodle. A really annoying noodle that's going to give me lots of problems. So I'm just gonna move that, move that. So there's that. So we're gonna just move noodle back into position. Because noodle is a nice noodle. Move him back. There. Would you look at that? Noodle again. And so let's look at what that looks like. I think the headband is distracting. I told you, the longer I animate, the more I dislike that headband. So we're just gonna... The arms look stiff. Noodle is being a problem. Edit, redo toggle switch, edit, keyframe movement. There we go. Now we're back to the beginning. Alright, so alright, let's work from complex to simple to complex. I think that this arm could be up more. So this goes here. This goes here. So somewhere on that left arm, I'm gonna tap rotation. There's that, and I'm gonna move that back. Let's go back. Yeah, that headband is distracting. I might simplify the animation. There's just so many things I have to touch in order to make sure that it's working. Alright, let's go with my... Where's the legs? Right leg, left leg. And I just want the rotations on these. So let's see. So I'm dealing with the right leg, which is that one. So I'm assuming the jump's going to happen on the left leg then, so there. Oh, whoops. I had both selected. There we go. This is the point right here. Let's grab that. Let's see how that looks. So and that is the right leg. I actually want to move this just a little bit closer. Alright, let's see how it looks. There we go. That looks very nice, actually. Over here. There. And that is the right leg. Let's get that rotation up. There we go. That's looking so much better. And so we're there. There we go. So that looks like there's a bit of bounce to it, a bit of... Either way, it looks better than before. Now, if I really want to check the difference between what I've done and what I haven't done, what I'm going to do is take this off, go back to our master composition, and I'm going to put up to 100%. Zoom in, because I know what's going to happen, I'll just... Okay. Fine. Okay, so now I know how to get the shot that I want. I'm gonna do that. And we're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Now, you can see the difference between the two characters now. One looks very stiff, the other one looks like it's running. Ignore that in the background, that's just some layout stuff. So, I'm gonna speed up the other character. I think she needs to be sped up. But so far, I think we did a good job trying to improve Grandpa, get him to be more lively. There's still an aspect missing. I think I can probably fix that with some more secondary action. Some parts of it are completely stiff, and I know that's what's throwing my eye off. For example, the hair and the face and the mustache are not reacting to the movement, which is of course gonna look a little bit weird. But if we really pay attention to it, then we should get a pretty good running animation. I'm going to do deformation of the mustache, not in this stream. I don't have enough I do not have enough time to do that. However, I think I can probably get some good animation for the hair, if it's even just some basic animation to hold the place of the the actual animation. So here's the hair. Let's unshy that. Let's get the hair. And that's gonna be mostly rotation. If I'm right, and I think I am, the anchor point of the hair is show backside. Excuse my language. I need it to be there and it's not there, so we're gonna see how that. Okay, so thank the Lord, me moving the anchor point of the hair has not affected the it has not affected the positioning of the hair when I play the animation, so I can probably start with this now. So thinking something like that, but the hair is secondary to the motion of the body, so I'm gonna need that one. And look at the body and positioning. I don't think I'm going to adjust the positioning. I am going to put some deformers on the hair, but not right now. I just want to work on the rotation of the hair. And I'm going to take off everything else that I'm not working with right now. So that's down, down. What we're doing is that. And I'm gonna stretch the hair with the deformer on this position. I think it will make a good. There we go. So we want it to hit this position, and then we want it to hit that position. And then we're gonna take that and move both of y'all that way. So let's go back to the front. And maybe move these just a little bit more. Not too much though, because I do want you to realize that and I know I'll have to adjust this afterwards, but this is just a placeholder animation so that I know. But as you can see, it looks a lot better. I definitely want to stretch it out, just to make it look a little bit more alive, bouncy, fun, you name it. There we go. Control V, that's 5. Let's put that at 4.9. Now, my variations in the movement of the hair might not be that big, but I might need to make the size of the canvas bigger. And this is another thing that you just need to know about After Effects, is that anything that comes off the canvas, and let me actually just show it to you. If it comes off the canvas, it's going to be cut off in the master composition. So what I want to do is come over here. I'm going to click on this hamburger menu, go down to composition settings, and I'm assuming you guys can see that, but you can't. So what you're going to do is you're going to hover over composition, and let me see if I actually can't, because this is a huge screen that I'm giving you guys, so you can see more clearly the action. But at the top of your composition, you'll see composition and your composition's name. In this case, it says Grandpa Runner Rough Animation. To the right of that, you'll see a hamburger menu. Left click it, and the sixth option from the top will be composition settings. In composition settings, you can adjust the height and width of your composition. I'm changing mine to 500 pixels height. If your lock aspect ratio is on, it is going to increase your size uniformly. So if you put 500 in height, it will increase width by the requisite amount. That's good to know if the shape of your composition is really, really important in terms of scale. Because mine fits into a larger master composition, I just increased the height by itself and left the width alone. So I increased that. There's that. I'm not worried about the black, because as I said, that black isn't actually a black background. It's transparent. It's just what After Effects represents it as. If you want an actual black background, you will need to add a solid to your composition. And there we go. So now that I can see the hair regardless of what madness I put it through, regardless of what madness I'm putting it through. There we go. Now the shadow is annoying me, so what I want to do with the shadow is come here, hit the transparency. I'm gonna put the transparency down to 80. So that's 80. And at this point, I'm gonna put it back to 100. Or no, I'm gonna put this at 80. And I'm gonna put that at 60. That's 80. That's 60. That's 80. And that's 60. I mean, like I said, these are just placeholder animations. You can get as detailed as you want, but I think the shadow should probably reflect the fact that the character is getting further and closer to the ground. It's a rough animation. If I do that, and we're good. So this looks a little bit uneven, but that's okay. That actually makes it look a little bit more lifelike. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to get rid of those layers, pause. Then switch to the master composition and zoom out so you guys can actually see what's happening here and play. So Grandpa looks like he's struggling. Yeah. So you can see where I just I was extending the composition. You can see where I forgot the residential and commercial blocks, but something just now made me... Aha! But wait. So one of these ambulances... Okay, so this ambulance needs to be behind these trees. There we go. Now, that's basically it for tonight. We've got 5 more minutes left on this, and I think I can probably call it a night. So this has been the first arts related stream of the year. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to go back to working on Locktown. Doing a lot of the animation and stuff just to get as a practice project. I foresee great improvements in my skills since I will be using them on a much larger level. And Let's see. Thanks for all the support, guys. So thank you for watching. I am going to log off. Actually, let me hit. I think I can put this on full screen for you all. And transition that. And can I decide where we stop with this? I think I'm going to have to find a happy place between zany animation and how do I put it? Zany animation and realistic animation. They require two different sets of stuff. But yeah, that's it for tonight. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. And guys, get some sleep. I know Kait should be asleep, and if he's still here, I'm telling him to go to sleep because he has an abnormal time difference between our stream. But that's that. So let me go. Let me say my thank yous. And hopefully I can share my good news with you guys next week. Like I said, I don't want to make the announcement until the official announcement is made by the group, but once it's there, I'll feel so much better about telling you guys. So bye-bye. Let me go. I have a stream ending soon, right? Transition. Yeah.